Hey folks, what's going on? It has been a while since I posted a video, so it is good to be back with you. In this video, I'm going to show some of the vinyl finds I scored on a recent trip to Los Angeles. I really needed a road trip. I needed to get away. This was a much needed vacation. I was long overdue for it, and it was so much fun. I spent 4 amazing days in LA, stayed in Hollywood, went to like 6 different vinyl stores, plus all the great sites in that area. I had a great time. I wish I was still there. But anyway, I'm going to show you some of the vinyl finds I took out of that amazing city. The first store I visited was Amoeba Hollywood, the famous Amoeba Hollywood. For people like us, this is heaven, this store. Just seeing it from the outside, the white building with all the neon lights. Looks real pretty at night. All the posters of upcoming releases, just the size of it from outside looks heavenly. Then you walk in the door and you are just overwhelmed by the thousands of items in this store, on the walls, all throughout the aisles, on the counters. You don't know where to start when you come into Amoeba Hollywood. You are just overwhelmed, and you just start in the A section of the vinyl section and just work your way all the way to the end. I mean, you can easily spend 2 to 3 hours there and hundreds of dollars, trust me. But this is what I pulled out of that amazing place. And this was like the find of the whole trip. Simple Minds. This is Big Music Live. Simple Minds Live Big Music Tour 2015. And this was a Record Store Day release, which was on Saturday. I didn't hit the store until a Monday night, hoping it would still be there, thinking everybody in LA would have bought it up. But lo and behold, look at that. It was still there, and I scored it. And this is a great album. What we got in the background is the live album from the 80s in the City of Light. But this is a great live album. Let me take the time to show this off. It's a Gatefold Records, a 2-record set. There we go, right there. Real nice. And it is, like I said, it was a Record Store Day release. And I was really hoping to score it on Record Store Day, but didn't find it. Here's a label, custom label on red vinyl. There's the side 1 label, and just regular printed stuff on side 2. So pretty nice, pretty nice. This is a really good live recording. I wish I had seen a show on this tour. It sounded like a great tour. I love the track listing on this. All my favorite songs from the 80s, plus a lot of the great new songs from their album Big Music at the time. A perfect blend of old and new Simple Minds on this live record. Just perfect. Great version of Alive and Kicking, Sanctify Yourself, Don't You Forget About Me, Waterfront, Blindfolded, New Gold Dream, Honest Town, all the things she said. I mean, this is just an amazing live record. I'm so glad I got this. I've only listened to it once because I've only been back in town one day. But I've listened to it once already and just absolutely loved it. I'm so glad I scored it. I was hoping to find it there, and when I did, I couldn't tell you how excited I was. I was just so excited to see it. I didn't care what the price was. I think it was $35, but that's not bad considering it's a 2-record set and it's a Record Store Day release. That's not, I didn't think it was that bad of a price, and I'm really glad I got this because I just love this live album. I mean, there are times when I think, as for live recordings go, I would say it's good. There are times when the volume kind of dips a little bit and then goes up. But otherwise, it's a great live recording. So really good. Really glad I scored that. So Simple Minds, Big Music Live. A couple of Dream Theater records. I didn't think I was going to buy any Dream Theater vinyl because I had most of their albums, but found a couple that I didn't have. So from Dream Theater, Live at the Marquee. I haven't opened this one yet. A lot of these records I haven't listened to yet, but I'll get to them. So I haven't listened to this one yet, but I've had it on CD for years and always loved it. But I didn't even know it was on vinyl, to be honest with you, until I saw it. It's the music on vinyl release, so really cool there. I've had the live CD for many years. It's one of my favorite Dream Theater CDs to listen to, so really happy to have Live at the Marquee on vinyl. Really does complete the Dream Theater collection really well. This one was a big surprise. Another Dream Theater live record. This is Dream Theater. It's called Puppies on Acid. It's a live FM broadcast, a bootleg basically, from 1993 from Warwick, Rhode Island, back in '93. This is the era where I really fell in love with Dream Theater. The original keyboard player was still in the band, Kevin Moore, as well as Mike Portnoy. He was also in the band. This is the era of Dream Theater I really loved, and this is an FM recording on 2 records. This is a 2-record set, not a gatefold though, but it's a 2-record set, and it is really good. I mean, the sound quality could be better, of course, but it's a bootleg. You know, you take your chances. So there's a lot of hiss because it's a FM broadcast, but captured a really good performance from the band during the years that I was really into this group. So 2 great Dream Theater live records now in the collection. Really cool finds there. Another great find from an album I've loved and had on CD since the 90s. It's from Sting, 10 Sumner's Tale. This is the last Sting solo album I was a big fan of. All his albums after this I wasn't that interested in, but I love this album. Actually, I love every song on this album. There's really not one bad song to me on here. I love this entire record. And I've had this CD since the 90s when it was first released, 93 I believe. So it's just great to have this on vinyl finally. It's a back on black release. So and it came with a download card. So really glad to put this in the collection. I just got done listening to this, and it sounds fantastic on vinyl. Never heard this album sound so good before. Just a great release. It came with the original insert. There we go. Like I said, download card. Really good record. So really glad I got that one in the collection. Okay, I noticed there in Amoeba that there was the series of live albums that were pressed on a picture disc from various bands, and the name of the series was called Access All Areas. I had never heard of this before, and I was seeing these picture discs by various artists all throughout the vinyl section. So I picked out 2 that looked really interesting to me, and one is from OMD, and there's the picture disc for OMD, Access All Areas, and this looks to be an early 80s recording, maybe around the era of Architecture Morality. Haven't listened to this yet, but this looks really interesting. I couldn't pass it up, me being such a huge OMD fan, and not too many live recordings available on vinyl from this band, so this was really nice to have. And another one from the same series of live records from Steve Hackett, also on the Access All Areas series, I guess is what you're calling it. This looked really good. I liked the track listing on this record. Looked really good. On side 2, the first song is called In That Quiet Earth, which is the Genesis song from Wind and Wuthering album. So be really interesting to hear that. But these 2, oh, this was so cool to find. I'm so glad I picked up the OMD and Steve Hackett of these live records. Just fantastic. So that was a must. I couldn't leave that behind. Okay, another cool addition to my 90s record collection from Live, Throwing Copper. I've actually been after this album for a long time and could never find it anywhere I would dig. Of course I can go online and get it, but it's fun to find these things in an actual store after hours of digging, to just pop into the L section and see it sitting there. You're like, oh yes. And this is the music on vinyl release. Where's the sticker at? Oh, there it is. So there we go right there. Music on vinyl. So there we are. Really cool. This was one of my favorite CDs back in the 90s. I like their first album too. I haven't been able to find that on vinyl at all. Of course, there's Selling the Drama, I Alone, you know, Iris, Lightning Crashes, All Over You were like the big songs on this album. Real popular album back in its day, so really glad to have it on vinyl. And I've been collecting a lot of records from the church. I didn't have this one, Priest Equals Aurora. I think it's how you say that. This was actually a staff pick, so I don't know if you see the sticker there. It was in the staff recommended section, and I was just really thrilled that somebody from the staff actually is a church fan, so made me want to pick it up. So I'm glad I did. Yet to get to this record too. Like I said, I've only been in town one day. Only managed to listen to 5 of these albums, and that took all day, it seemed like. Big church fan. I have this actually, a lot of songs from this I have on a church bootleg on vinyl. So I'm familiar with some of the songs on here, and I do remember the album cover back in the day. This is a 90s album, and I can't wait to spin this. That's going to be fun. As far as 12-inch vinyl, the last thing I scored out of Amoeba was this Van Halen bootleg. You take your chances with bootlegs. You know, this is the David Lee Roth era, probably their first tour. Yeah, because most of the songs on the set list are from the first album, for the exception of DOA, so it might be an early version of DOA. I always wanted an early bootleg of Van Halen on vinyl, and this looked like a good one to go for. It wasn't that expensive, so I'm glad I scored it. They have a good collection, or selection I should say, of 45s there at Amoeba. They have these specialized drawers, ones of 70s, 80s, punk, specific bands. They had a Genesis drawer, they had an Elton John drawer that you pull out and put on the table and just thumb through it. So a few things that I pulled out of a Genesis drawer of 45s. A Japanese pressing of Genesis Turn It On Again. I am so excited to have gotten this. I think this was like $5. I can go for that. And I do like the cover too. I heard this song about a zillion times, but real glad to have picked that up. On the Charisma label, we have the song Inside and Out, backed with Match of the Day. This was only $1. I figured I can do that for $1. I like that Charisma label too. I always like the great Charisma label. It looks so fucking badass. I saw Derek show this on a video once, and ever since he showed it, I wanted it so bad, but I could never find it. Now I found it, and it was like $3 or so. So it's a flexi disc from Genesis Live, and it has The Lady Lies on one side, and I can't see what's on the other side because it has this cardboard thing, and I haven't listened to it yet. But there we go, Genesis Live on a flexi disc. Remember the flexi disc where you put the little penny on it and just spin it? Sometimes you find them in magazines, you can just tear it out, put the penny on and start spinning it. Well, really glad to have that to add to the Genesis 45 collection. And a few hard rock, 80s hard rock kind of records that I really wanted to get my hands on. Van Halen, Dance the Night Away. All these are picture sleeves, because that's what I like to collect. So there we go. And there's the back of it with picture David Lee Roth. I don't remember what it's backed with, to tell you the truth. Oh, it's just Dance the Night Away on both sides. Okay, so there we go. And White Snake Still of the Night. I always love that song. And it's printed on this really cool white vinyl with this nice label on it. Really badass, and this folds out into a poster, but I haven't taken it out yet, but really cool. I've never seen this before, and they only wanted $3 for it. I thought, why not? Back when I used to see Rush live, back in the 90s, the band Mr. Big used to open for them, and they were like, that was like one of my favorite concerts in my whole life to go to. See Mr. Big open for Rush, that was badass. So you can imagine how surprised I was to see a 45 by Mr. Big for the song Addicted to That Rush, their first single off their first album. Back to the song Blame It on My Youth. Just a Really surprised to see that. I mean, I have it on vinyl, the whole album, but I've never seen a Mr. Big 45 before. So I was like really, really happy to have this. It's on the Atlantic label. Badass. And the last one from Living Colour, the song Tight from their second album. Love that band, Living Colour. They're one of my favorite bands from back in the day. Back in the day being late 80s. Just really glad I picked this one up. It's on the Epic label. Such a good find. So that's what as far as vinyl, that's what I scored at Amoeba. As you can see, I spent a lot of money there. It must have took me like 2 hours or just over 2 hours to find all that. And that was me hustling too. But really cool. Second vinyl store I went to is a place called the Record Parlor, which is actually a couple blocks down the street from Amoeba. Really cool place, chilled out vibe, real friendly people working behind the counter there. I always have a blast finding used records there. They're good for 80s records and jazz records and R&B records from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They're all used, they don't sell anything new. And always decent prices there, real chilled environment, love that place. So I got a couple of good stack of records. We'll start with the 12-inch singles from Tears for Fears for the song Change. This is a UK pressing of the song. This is a single off their first album. Never seen this one before. So I was really surprised to see a 12-inch single from this album, and there's the custom label. And a great song. Change is one of my favorite songs actually on that first record. That first record's a killer, but really love that song. Same band, the song, a 12-inch single for the song Woman in Chains. This is from their third album, Sowing the Seeds. Great song. This is actually a really good song. Phil Collins plays drums on it, and this is another 12-inch single I've never seen either on the Fontana label. Really great find. Absolutely in love with that song. This is another UK pressing, I believe, and it's something I've never seen before. That's why I grabbed it. I knew I would never see it again, so I had to pick these things up. Some I probably could have found in all the other stores I dig, but it looked like a nice little thing to pick up. The Babies Head First, one of the local radio stations around here, plays a lot of their songs, a couple of their songs, and I just got to like them, so there we go. This is pretty rare, from Berlin. This is a promo copy single for the singles off the album Love Life, which was their second album. Side 1 is Touch, and Now It's My Turn. Side 2 is In My Dreams and No More Words. Always been a big Berlin fan, so love that one. America's Greatest Hits, something I picked up for a couple of bucks. The reason I got this is a friend of mine at work was telling me the drummer from this band moved to Stockton, California, where I'm from, where I live. And it visits the jam bars, the musician jam bars that I go to. I just seem to miss them every night. So my friend got me a pair of his autographed drumsticks, and that kind of got me in an America mood. This happened recently, so while I was up there, I got this for a couple of dollars, just for the fun of it. From John Cougar Mellencamp, Lonely All Night. This is a promo copy. I've always loved that song. I love the album too, from Scarecrow. Just a great song off of a great album. So it was cool to see this promo copy 12-inch single. I've never seen this before either, so I was like really surprised to see it. And from Earth, Wind & Fire, this is from my childhood, the album Electric Universe. This came out late 80s as well, I believe, like maybe around 86, 87, somewhere around that. The song Magnetic is really badass on this album. My brother, I remember, bought this on cassette for me for Christmas. And I think I must have lost it or it got damaged over the years. So it's nice to have this album once again. There's the gatefold. 80s, Earth, Wind & Fire. May Maurice White rest in peace. One of my heroes. All right. Well, that was the first couple of days I was in LA. I still had 2 other days I was there, but we'll continue that on another video because I don't want this video to be like damn near a half hour, 40 minutes long. That's too long to be sitting in front of a video. All right. So part 2 coming up very, very soon. Take it easy, folks.